Hi, everybody. I can tell you that before March, I weighed 183 pounds, and then COVID hit, and all I did was stay home, work, and eat. I was baking brownies, cooking mac and cheese, and eating whatever was around the house. Today, unfortunately, I weigh 197. All right, are you like me? I see you shaking your heads out there. Then it's time to do something about it. Today, I want to talk to you about a weight loss program that could be exactly what you're looking for. It's called Compass Fat Loss. It's a science-based and data-driven program. They even use DNA analysis. You're going to get step-by-step progress reports on how you're doing. Joining me now is Dr. Eric Kusher from Compass Fat Loss. Doc, it is good to see you. I have unfortunately gained a little bit of weight. I might be knocking on your door.
Good morning, Scott. You mean I finally might get you as a patient after all this time?
That's not a good thing. You might just be. You might just be. How are you? Your health is good.
I've never been better. Thank you for asking. And yourself?
Good. I'm glad. Well, Compass Fat Loss is always trying to change and improve and move forward with technology. So I guess the first question I have for you, how do you keep patients from veering off track? Because I know, I know a lot of people start diet plans and then they lose interest after like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they just say goodbye to the whole thing and back to their normal habits. How do you do that?
Boy, they sure do. Yeah, they sure do. And you know from previous segments that we monitor them ongoing ad infinitum, so we make sure that they keep what they've achieved. But first, really, you can't, on any diet program, you can't tell somebody that they're going to have to stay away from certain foods for the rest of their lives, or you're going to be doomed to failure. It's not realistic to ask people to give things up without ever having hope of having them again. So what do? Instead of cutting them out, you have to find healthy alternatives. So we've researched far and wide to make sure that we've got things that fit those bills to keep patients satisfied and their cravings satisfied for things like breads and pastas and cakes and buns and stuff that have net zero carbs. So they taste good, they fit the bill, but they don't do any damage. And that's the key. They have to taste good or it's all for naught. So we've aligned with manufacturers that we've chosen to provide these products to patients to get them through those times where they've got cravings for foods like that, but they can have them and not suffer for them.
Okay. So we are talking about, there are certain carbohydrates that are good and certain carbohydrates that are bad, and we're supposed to steer away from those that are bad, right?
Correct. Those are the high glycemic carbs. Those are the sugars, the candy, the breads, the potatoes, the rice. These are the things that spike your blood sugar and spike your insulin and cause fat storing to be very easy and fat burning to be very hard. So we've got to minimize those while increasing some healthy fats in the process so we can get that insulin level balanced out so patients have a much easier time burning the fat and a much harder time storing the fat.
Can you talk to us about that insulin resistance?
Sure. Yeah. This is kind of a cornerstone of the practice, especially in patients that maybe their progress isn't quite what we expect, or they lose well and then they hit a wall, a real stubborn plateau that we can't break through. And only in those type of patients do we do some lab testing, which uncovers insulin resistance.
Okay.
And what insulin resistance is to the patient is it's almost like a lock and key mechanism. Insulin is a hormone that fits into the lock, opens it up, and lets sugar come in so the cell can burn it for fuel. If you're insulin resistant, that key doesn't fit very well. So the sugar that's circulating instead goes into fat cells and gets stored as fat. There are things that we can do to minimize insulin resistance. There are dietary changes, there are exercise changes, there's nutritional supplement changes. And over time, we can get insulin resistance to come down to a lower level that's much more manageable. So patients will find it much easier to burn fat and much harder to store fat. And it really helps the weight loss and the maintenance process.
That is awesome. I mean, the only thing I think about when I hear about insulin is diabetes, but everybody's got insulin.
Yeah, diabetes is the far end product. So you'll start with a little bit of insulin resistance. You'll get to pre-diabetes, which your doctor will probably tell you about, watch what you eat. And then if you don't be careful, you're in full-blown diabetes with all the ramifications that come with that, coronary artery disease and neuropathy and eyesight and kidneys and stuff like that. We want to stop this way before it ever gets to that point. And getting control of insulin resistance early is the way to do that.
What is my plan going to look like? Do I get the food from you? Am I going to be shopping in a supermarket? How does all of that work?
Great question. We at Compass, we don't use any prepackaged foods or bars or shakes or gimmicks like that because they're good for losing weight short term, but they're never very good at keeping it off long term because you got to eat like a normal human being.
Right.
And if you haven't been transitioned from that stuff back to real healthy food properly, most patients will go back to the way they ate before the weight's going to come back on. So on our program, you're shopping at your grocery store from day one. You're buying your own foods. Stick with the big list of foods that are good. Stay away from the few that are bad. We'll show you how to prepare them. We'll show you how to order at a restaurant if you're able to sit down at one now and order your food properly. So even if you're dining out or you're cooking in, you can follow the plan and get the same gains.
And cooking in, I'm not a real great cook, I got to tell you, Doc. So is this a plan that I'm going to be able to do? Are these meals something that I'm going to be able to prepare?
Yeah, along with the guidelines, we also provide all patients with a recipe book that has almost 300 recipes in it. And they will go from super quick and easy all the way up to next to gourmet. So you pick out your comfort level. If you don't have a lot of time to kill and you want to do something simple, you can go anywhere on the scale. Probably the most important part is being prepared. So whatever level you're going to cook at, make sure that you're prepared and you have your meals ready, or if you're out, you know what you're going to have, or you can take it with you, or you know where you're going to get it. Because you don't want to be having noon roll around and Scott's wondering, hey, what am I eating for lunch today? You want to know. So if you have control over that, you're going to get much better results in the long term.
Okay. And I know, I watched your whole introductory yesterday online. It was really excellent. And you talk about the 4 things that you're going to do on the plan. The first thing is you're going to have to weigh yourself every day, which provides real-time daily oversight, correct?
Yeah, this is something that's new for some patients. And you're not only weighing yourself every day, you're getting on our scale/body comp analyzer. So what we used to do in the office is have the patients come in and stand on that thing and get all their key health values.
Right.
With COVID especially, but we did this over 2 years ago. We went completely remote. And when we send out the kit to the patient, they get their very own unit to have with them. So all they do is they sync it to their cell phone. They wake up in the morning, they stand on the scale. All of those values, their weight, their BMI, their body fat, their visceral fat, all that stuff gets transmitted to their phone so they can track it. But at the same time, it also gets transmitted to my dashboard so I can see their progress in real time. So we can follow them as if we're right next to them throughout the day.
Okay, and the second we kind of highlighted, you got to stick to your meal plan. It's just common sense. Proteins, vegetables, and fruits, they're all going to be a part of the meal plan. The third I love. This is keep a daily journal, and it's got 43 pages in there. Can you explain why the 43?
Yeah, the journal keeps patients, 100% invested in the process. So if they're eating and drinking and taking supplements and using salt and this and that, if they're logging it every day, it's up here at the same time that they're doing that. So it keeps them equated with the process. And for those 43 days, if we have them do that consistently, that gets to be a habit with them. And this is all about building good habits and permanent lifestyle changes.
Exactly.
And those 43 days are kind of the jumping off point to make that happen for the rest of their lives.
Okay. And how important is water? Is it super important, Doc?
It's crucial. Hydration has to be at a certain level in order for all the chemical reactions to take place in the cell to get these metabolic changes to take place. So as a rule of thumb, we tell patients, half your body weight in ounces, that's what you should drink every day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking 100 ounces of water every day.
100 ounces of water.
It seems like a stretch for most patients, but they can gradually ramp up to it and get there.
Okay. Anything else I'm missing? I think we covered a lot, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about anything else you want to bring up.
Well, really, no, just, the products that we mentioned, which are the carb-like products that satisfy cravings and stuff like that, but don't do any damage. Those are all available on our website at compassfatloss.com to either active patients or people that just want to start making a lifestyle change.
And how's Javier Colon? Have you spoken to him now that he's like?
I have spoken to him, and we're playing golf early next month. Thank God.
Where's my invite?
Hang in there, buddy. Yeah, they only allow 4.
Okay, I got it.
No, he's doing awesome. You know, the guy lost 70 pounds, and he's been hit hard by COVID, as all entertainers have,
Yes,
because they
absolutely.
can't go out and tour. But he's holding his own really nicely. I'm proud of him.
Good, good. Well, it's always good to see you. And I just want to remind people that this is not a diet, folks. It's more of a permanent lifestyle change. And if you're ready, Dr. Kusher and his team are ready to help. All you have to do is go to compassfatloss.com or call 800-735-2281. Doc, I can't thank you enough for being with us today. Continued success, and I hope a lot of people sign up.
My greatest pleasure. Stay safe, Scott. Good to see you.
You too. Good to see you as well.
Take care.
Yes. Thanks, Doc.
And stay in touch.
Okay, yeah, you too.